Hi everybody, Robin here at Toadstool Tarot. Welcome back. And I decided to finally do the hashtag to the Hermit's Cave. I think it's 10 top RWS Tarot Decks. I'll have to double check that, how it's worded. But I just saw Jen at Jen's Balance Tarot did it this morning, and it reminded me I hadn't gotten around to it either, and so I decided to show you what mine are. So I'll follow suit and go backwards from 10. In the number 10 spot, in a lovely little crochet bag I made, is the Waite Centennial Edition Tarot in a tin. I love the decks in a tin. I love the size of these, and I like the antique look of this particular deck. And the reason I picked this one over the regular size one is the regular size one comes in a tuck box, which I'm not fond of. It also comes in a borderless version, which I'm also not fond of, because they altered the artwork a little bit, I believe, around the borders. This one, besides being in a tin, which I love, and having the antique-y look, the cards have a nice feel to the edges. I think the one in the tuck box had a sharper feel to the edges. And for me, it's all about the clarity and the comfortable feel of the cards. So I want to see, sharp line work, decent coloring, and the cards have to feel right. So these have a real nice glide and a nice feel to them. So that's my number 10. Number 9 is from Make Playing Cards. I shoved this in a tin. It's the study deck for tarot course. Just a generic tin from Make Playing Cards. This one is really nice. I've actually been using this to refer to for the Sunday tarot play date sessions, which is why I've got them sorted out. These are the cards left to go. These are the ones we've already covered. It's got that crackle back, which I love. It's my favorite of the back designs. And the clarity is very good. The feel is great. It's from Make Playing Cards, and they have a stock I really love. I think this is just their S30 stock. Nice and slick, has a nice sheen, not overly glossy, not matte, just right. The only issue I have with this deck is in comparison to some other decks, this one is slightly dark. It doesn't look that dark here under the light, but if you show it side by side with other decks, it's a little bit dark. So that's my main reservation with this one. In the number 8 spot is the Tarot of A.E. Waite. I love the sturdy box that this comes in. I had to send to Europe for it. I think I got it on Amazon UK. It's from AGM Urania. And it is in English. Doesn't have Pixie's font. The cards feel really nice. The line work is pretty sharp. The colors are bright and clear. It just has a really nice feel to it. and it's clean to look at. Some might consider it too bright, but I like it. And I love the crackle backs and the box. Those are two major draws for this one. Number 7 is it's called the Gold Sky Tarot. It's a playing card size deck, which I like, derived from the artwork in the Hoi Polloi by Paris de Bono at his printer studio shop called the Fortune Teller Designer Shop. And it is the Gold Sky Tarot. Kind of reminds me of the Golden Rider, which I haven't been able to get hold of. I like the sort of gold backgrounds. It's got a little bit of a sheen. Again, not matte, not overly glossy. Slides real nice. Some of the colors are a little bit garish. It looks better in a video than it actually does in person. But I think that the colors are probably pretty accurate to the original Hoi Polloi, which tends to be a little bit garish. I think maybe the only difference with this one is that the sort of matted or mute gold sky pattern has been put in the background. It's very nice. He does have a lot of decks there. They all have this standard back for his brand, the Fortune Teller, Paris de Bono. That is my number 7. My number 6 is also by him, and that one is called the Black and White Drawings Tarot. Neither of these come in a box. They just come shrink wrapped. So this one also is playing card size. Nice and slick. Easy to handle and shuffle. Black and white line drawing. It's a little bit ghosted. The lines aren't all perfectly sharp and crisp. It has this kind of ghosting effect, which I like. Initially, I thought it sort of looked like they'd been photocopied from on a printer that was running low on toner. But I sort of like that it has a kind of a ghosting effect, where some lines are sort of fading a little bit. This also is from the Hoi Polloi artwork, or so I've been told. Number 5 is my Blushing Fool in a blue box, which my friend Melissa helped me get hold of. Love this hard, sturdy little box. This has, I never liked these blue plaid back designs, but I'm getting used to them. This has matte cardstock, slides fairly well. It's a little bit clingy, as you can see, which is something that I look for in matte cardstock, to make sure that they don't stick too much, that they glide well. This isn't too bad. The line clarity and color work is really wonderful. It's a favorite among many collectors, and I'm glad to have it. The cards have a nice feel to them, even though they have no finish to speak of. Sort of a nice soft feel. My number 4 is one that I've recently fallen in love with all over again, which is the Radiant Wise Spirit Tarot. It comes in a nice box. The only problem with the box is, even though it's a nice design, the top is so loose that it tends to just kind of fall off very easily. And the cards tend to want to fall out, so you have to be careful. It has, excuse me, a really nice hefty book with text by Sasha Graham that I really like a lot. This is a borderless deck. Borderless backs, roses and lilies design, dark moody coloring, highly glossy, which some people don't like. I actually kind of like it. In this case, it kind of makes each card feel like a piece of art, like almost like Russian enamels or Ukrainian enamel art or something. I suspect that these will wear really well over time because of the heavy gloss coating on them. I had some issues with a misprint on one of the cards, but I've come around to redefining my interpretation of that card, and I've made peace with it, and now I love the deck again. You know, if I can find it to show you. I may have passed. Oh, here it is. In this one, there's a broken string that gave me great distress. But now I come to look at this card in terms of equity, charity and equity. And I think, whereas I had issues with this being an unfair scale, I am now looking at the handing out of favors in terms of being inequitable as well. This guy's getting all the charity, this guy's getting none, which is sort of mirrored in this unequal or broken scale. That being said, I wouldn't suggest this as a first deck for a brand new reader, just in case they assume that that misprint is in all Pamela Coleman Smith decks, because it's not. There are some other cards where a few things have been changed color-wise. I think in the, there's this one, my favorite card in all RWS decks. This one, he is very definitely shown in bare feet, which doesn't seem to be the case in other cards. They're colored in a way that it looks like he's wearing slippers or boots. Also, the water in this is blue, and in all the others it's sort of an orange that looks like it's either sunset reflecting on the water or desert sands. So yeah, there are a few color changes in this deck that are a little bit different symbolically, if you will, from other decks. But I love this. Next is the it's called the RWS BW20. It's by Ted Beach, and it's the Roses and Lilies back in sort of a brownish gray. It's a black and white version of Pixie's line art, which I really love. I appreciate her art maybe even more so when it's just reduced to line art without the colors. The artwork's fairly sharp. Stands out better, I think, without the colors. It's also nice stock. This is at MPC, and, you know, I think this might be the S33 Superior stock, but it has a really nice slippery feel to it, and the cards just feel fantastic. So that, again, is the RWS BW20. And it's relatively inexpensive. He also has a deck there that looks very much like the study deck, and I'm kind of waiting for someone else to get it and do a walkthrough to see the color comparison, because I believe he used some of the same artwork and cleaned up the imagery a little bit more, but I can't tell from the thumbnails whether the coloring is the same as the study deck or not. If it were a little bit lighter, I might prefer it. I believe it also has a brown Roses and Lilies back as opposed to the crackle back. Anyway, next we go to my number 2, which used to be my number 1. And this is a tin that I had made. This is the RWS 2.0 by James Rickleff. And this is some of the sharpest line work that I've seen and the most amazing coloring. This is probably the first deck that I ordered a backup copy for. I really love this deck. The cardstock feels fantastic. I think it's S30. The atmospheric coloring is quite beautiful. I like the way that it bleeds off the edges outside of the borders. No, a lot of people don't like that. It has the copyright on here. If I had my choice, I wouldn't have that on there, but not to the extent I'd trim off the borders, because I do like that bleed effect. Also, some people have issues with it not being Pixie's font. That's not a deal breaker for me. So yeah, I love the atmosphere in this one. That's the RWS 2.0, which brings me to my number 1, my current number 1. This is another deck that my friend Melissa helped me find. It's the Pamela Coleman Smith RWS Tarot, affectionately known as the Dirty Pam. Now, you may find these online relatively cheaply, but the ones that are cheap from Lo Scarabeo are not the same version. And I believe the way you can tell them apart is in this one, look at the dark shading in this corner of the oval. And I think maybe the table's a different color too. But I've been using this so much lately that I'm not keeping it in the tuck box. I've put it in a tin. And I found these generic tins on Amazon. I don't generally like the plastic here as opposed to a plain metal box, but This actually helps identify the deck since you can see it through the window on the lid, so that's nice. I also put a little strip of tape on the side for when they're stored on a shelf so I can tell what's what. Now this is the same coloring as the Radiant Wise Spirit. It predates it. It has, let me just double check. It has a different font on the bottom, a bolder, larger, all caps font, which I like better. It's got the labels in this kind of sandy color, which I like. I like the black border. I think it makes the artwork really pop. And the borders, the white borders, are so narrow that I don't find them at all distracting. I think also in general the line work might be a little bit thinner than in the Radiant Wise, except for the outline circles in this particular card. This one I recently got. I've been loving it. I've been using the heck out of it. These are the backs, Roses and Lilies, again with a border. Slightly smaller pattern. I think there are more lilies on here than the Radiant Wise Spirit backing. The only issue I have with this one, oh, this one also is not glossy, but it has a nice sheen. And these cards have some of the most amazing feel of probably any deck in my entire collection, including the S30 that I love so much in the RWS 2.0. The only problem is I've been noticing there are some rub spots in here where the pigment has come off. Now, I don't know how typical that is of this deck. And that's a little disappointing because it seems to tell me these will not wear very well over time. But that's one of the reasons I want to try and get hold of a backup copy of this deck if I can. I am really loving this. It's my new favorite. I like the moodiness in the colors, the subdued quality, the atmospheric effect. And the card feel is just exquisite. So that's my number one. So let's see. Number one is the Dirty Pam, Pamela Coleman Smith, RWS. Number two, the RWS 2.0. Number three, the RWS BW20 from Ted Beach at Make Playing Cards, the black and white. Number four is the Radiant Wise Spirit from Los Scarabeo. Number five is my Blushing Fool. Number six is the black and white from Paris de Bono. Number seven is the Gold Sky from Paris de Bono. Number eight is the Tarot of A.E. Waite. Number 9 is the study deck for Tarot Course. And number 10, the Smith-Waite Centennial in a Tin. So there you have it. Show me yours. See you all soon.